Hello, people of YouTube. My name is Steve Gray, and thank you for watching. Recording this one a little bit later today. Had to go to the dentist earlier, messed with my motorcycle a little bit. But you don't need to know too much about my personal life. Today we're going to be talking about Dr. Stone Season 2, Episode 11, or Dr. Stone, The Stone Wars, Episode 11, whichever you prefer. I prefer the later. And this was kind of a happy episode, a sad episode, a not really a lot going on episode, and all sorts of other fun things along the process. So we start off with Senku at the beach, passed out, with Tsukasa as well, passed out on the beach. And here comes Homaru running up out of nowhere, and she thinks, she's like, oh, this is the most beautifully perfect opportunity to not just kill Senku, but also to kill Tsukasa, make Hoga the one that's top dog, because apparently her and Hoga have a thing going on, and we can beat King and Queen together, or some sort of crazy nonsense along those lines. But thankfully, all of the Kingdom of Science villagers jump out to defend them, no problem. Kenro, Genro, everybody else jumps up, defends them, and captures them. And of course, Homaru gets knocked on her butt yet again. So we don't really know the process, because Hoga's like, oh, you can't even kill the person that tried to kill you and your friend, and you can't even kill the person that killed you, referring to, why doesn't he kill both Tsukasa and himself, Hoga? And he was like, look, I'm not really interested in the judicial, one of those processes, and we're just going to keep going along with my plan and not really worry about the rest of it. So him and Tsukasa are kind of slowly growing closer. He is doing everything in his abilities to, heal Tsukasa, make him live, I should say, for at least a little longer. He's not 100% positive he can, basically cure him, because he has a punctured lung, and eventually he's going to get sepsis and die, but he thinks he can at least prolong his life a little bit. So he figures out a way to mix a bunch of stuff together, a bunch of ingredients. I don't really remember. It went by super fast in the show. Ends up being super glue, which I actually have some right here. I use this on guitar stuff all the time. And that obviously sews up Tsukasa a little bit. They get Yuzuria to actually sew him up physically, because she is really good at sewing. And then you have the beautiful image that will be on the screen momentarily, where it looks like they're all in an operating room. You got Kaseki with his beard cover on. Senku's got the hairnet cover, the mask, everything, all doctored up. And it just kind of looks like something out of a horror scene is the best way to describe it. Like some sort of doctors are experimenting on somebody, doing something really creepy. His sister's kind of watching the entire time, Mirai. And she likes, she wants to know what's happening, what's going on. Is her brother going to be okay? And Senku promises her 100% that he is going to find a way to heal Tsukasa fully. However, we get into a part that is kind of unsettling, because Tsukasa, technically he dies in this episode. So he's dead, but he's not really dead. So Senku's plan is to figure out a way to petrify people. So he realizes that somebody petrified everybody in the world. It was some sort of most likely some sort of human creation, and somebody did it to try to, break down the population. And, he's instilling his beliefs in the villagers. He was like, well, if the world can't support 7 billion people, 7 billion people are going to think of a way to figure out how to support themselves, whether that be leave the planet, things along those lines. A little bit of space talk. We get some of it, an image of his father again, because his plan is to go back to the landing site of the space shuttle on the other side of the world, so that way he can figure out all of the information they had, and figure out if his father and the other astronauts knew anything about the petrification process, because he wants to re-petrify Tsukasa and then unpetrify him again. And because of the immeasurable healing abilities unpetrifying people has, I mean, look at Tsukasa's sister, after all. She was pretty much clinically brain dead. She came back to life, no sweat. His plan is to figure out a way to re-petrify Tsukasa and then unpetrify him again in order to heal him, because he does not have, the surgeon hands. He does not have the medical supplies he will need, nor is he an actual doctor, even though they call it Dr. Stone. So he's kind of a doctor. We'll say he's got the intelligence of a doctor, but doesn't have the degree. We'll go with that. And in order to heal Tsukasa fully. But the problem is he doesn't have the time to do that because Tsukasa is dying, and all he's doing is delaying the inevitable for a few days with the super glue and the sewing, things along those lines, stitching up the wound. So he asked Tsukasa if he can kill him. And he was like, it kind of works out anyway because you killed me once. Tsukasa's like, yeah, it's kind of works out that way. I already killed you once, so now you're getting your revenge on me for killing you. And Senku's plan is to freeze him, put him in kind of like do what they did to supposedly Walt Disney and freeze his head except with his entire body, not just his head, in the hopes that they will figure out how to re-petrify him and that he can wake up. So we don't know if Tsukasa actually dies before he puts him in the machine, but his entire body is frozen now. He is in a giant freezer, and he is technically dead because if a human can freeze to death. So that's basically what happened. Is he either succumbed to the illness from getting stabbed, or he froze to death, but his body is being preserved so that way they can repetrify the body, depetrify it again, and then hopefully he will come out shiny and brand new at some point in time in the future. And Senku was like, I don't care if it takes 1,000 years, we are going to figure out a way to heal you. And Tsukasa agrees. They kind of bro out for a little bit. It's a little bit of a sad moment, actually, because they're just talking small talk. They always talk serious to each other, and Tsukasa's like, I had a really good time when we were just hanging out. It was just you, me, and Taiju hanging out, all broing out. We all had our roles. Kind of sorry that I got us into this mess. Things along those lines. And then that was kind of it. Closed his eyes, and that's all she wrote. So we are going to go to the other side of the world now. That is the next task. The Ishigami villagers are going to help construct a boat. They're probably going to create some vehicles as well to put on the giant boat and take everybody, or a large portion of people, across the world. That is going to be what's going to happen in the rest of Season 2. So next episode or two, expect them to be getting prepared for that. See some classic Dr. Stone inventions, other random things being invented. Who knows what Senku's got up his sleeves, because they're going to want a bunch of ways to, feed themselves and things along those lines on the way. Obviously, we got the freeze-dried ramen. Senku also mentioned that, hey, if we get this petrification thing, then we theoretically have food forever, because we can just petrify a fish, and whenever we want, we can unpetrify it. It's not going to have any germs or anything because of the healing process of it. And I thought that was really cool as well. Another thing that we learned in the process as well is that, yes, if you put all the pieces back together of the crushed people, they will be unpetrified. We don't really know this person's name. He did something with computers. He was like a management person. He was like, he was just a type of guy that is so massively involved in his work as his entire life, and that's all he can think about. And he literally wakes up just like typing, like, and I was like, oh, it's one of those people. That's rough. He was like, I missed the deadline. He was like, yeah, you're about 1,000 years late. And I was like, what? No, I missed it. And we don't know what the plan is for this particular gentleman, but it's good to have the journalist Minami, and because she knows people, a lot of famous people and what they do, and she realized this was some sort of famous management person, so he's going to manage everybody's time and crunch the numbers, get everybody working to their fullest capacity. At least I think that was the goal with that particular character, but who knows. We also learned that Tsukasa actually remembers every single person that he killed, because he did, he felt bad about it. He was like, I'm doing this to help the world, but at the same time I realize that I'm killing people, and that is bad. And he remembered every single person that he killed. But the good news is, if you glue all of them back together and have most of the pieces, they come back no problemo and are good to go, living again. So we're going to probably get a bunch of new characters soon. We're probably going to unpetrify a bunch of people. They're probably going to have a puzzle building team. I don't know what characters are going to go with Senku and what characters are going to stay behind. I'm guessing the main characters are probably going to be there. Ruri might be there. We haven't really seen a lot of Ruri in this season at all so far, besides like bits and pieces of her. Definitely a lot more last season, so I don't know if she's going to become more important or not. But we're probably going to get Kenro, Genru, Suika, Gen, Kaseki, possibly Magma, Nikki, Ukyo, Manemi, Yo, Mairi, Tsukasa is not going to show up. Senku, obviously. Kohaku, Yuzuria, Taiju, Chrome. Those are probably going to be the main characters that are actually going to go on the boat, because somebody's got to stay behind and watch over the villagers, watch over the old people and kids, and that makes perfect sense. Rating-wise, let's give this one a nice fat 8 out of 10. Decent episode overall, not the best. Definitely far from the worst. Entertaining the entire time. Definitely kept you watching the entire time. So no worries there. Excellent episode overall. So what I think is going to happen next episode and next couple episodes is we are building a big old fat boat. They have dragged out things before, like building or so I should say creating and chemistry-ing the antibiotics. So it is a possibility we're going to get a boat being built, dragged out across a few episodes before we get anything else. But we'll just have to wait and see to the foreseeable future. So I think that pretty much sums up this episode. Let me know your thoughts, comments, things you want me to do in the comments down below. Hit that subscribe button while you're down there and that notification bell so you know when I'm making new content and so on and so forth. My name is Steve Gray. I thank you for watching, and as always, have a good one.